Hello Aquarius friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my April 2020 horoscope report for you. April is this very interesting month, suspended weightless I'm calling it, in this bubble between the epic eclipse experiences from the beginning of the year and the ones we're about to step into. Also this weightless little bubble right in between the retrogrades. And so I'm going to talk about what all that means. I want to give you some really important notes to write in your calendar, or dates to write in your calendar, and what I'm suggesting that you consider doing with them. And we're going to talk about what the tone of the month is for Aquarius. In general, in the stars this month, we've got a mixed bag. We've got about the same amount of salty versus sweet potential aspects. And whenever that happens, our viewpoint, our way of looking at things, our way of showing up for everything can really tip the scales to make it super positive and super productive. And I'm more confident that Aquarius energy is going to have an easier time doing this month, because the energies of air and fire are the predominant experiences with the personal planets, which are all in beautiful sync with your placement, okay? So let's first talk about Mars moving through Aquarius, because Aquarius is your sign. And so whenever Mars moves through, and this happens, a Mars cycle is a little over 2 years. So it's a couple of years in between the time you have Mars in your sign. And Mars is all about taking action. And we've got a beautiful month this month for taking action. So the Sun in Aries giving impetus, especially in a beautiful angle to your Aquarius placements. We've got Venus and Mars in air signs that are flowing beautifully with your placement. And we have this month where it's pretty open to do some pretty important things. Okay, so let's talk about that and the timeline for that and what things to align when. So personal planets are the ones closest to us. When we talk about a personal planet retrograde, we're referring to Mercury, Venus, and Mars. In 2020, we have a year of retrogrades where most of our time is going to be spent in a personal planet retrograde or the shadow period of it. A shadow period is the weeks before and after the actual retrograde, where the stars behave as if they're already retrograde, and the types of things that happen in the retrogrades are coming into fuller and fuller form with every day we get into this shadow period, okay? So Venus, which is next up for us, rules love, beauty, money, self-esteem. This is a lot of areas of life that's being dominated here. Starting April 10th until May 13th, we've got that pre-shadow period for Venus. Then from May 13th to June 25th, we have the actual retrograde of Venus. And then from June 25th through the end of July, we have the post-shadow period. So as you can see, April, May, June, July, we've got 4 months of the storylines of Venus retrograde. And so that's going to mean things coming from the past as they relate to self-esteem or lack thereof, certainty or uncertainty within self, certainty or uncertainty within relationships, money things, okay? The retrograde brings up things from the past for better and worse. So if you have a pretty good relationship with money, you got a pretty good relationship with your partner and for other people around you, it's very possible that the retrogrades can just bring you more of that. More sweetness, more fun things that you used to do, bring you back to doing things you used to do that were fun, and going back to places you used to go that were, romantic for you, or going to old clients and getting business. It can just be this very beautiful, blissful reach into the past and picking out just fun, wonderful things. But if you have uncertainty, self-esteem, relationship issues, relationship with money issues, those are the kind of things that get swept under the rug during the direct time when we're just blazing forward trying to deal with everything. Then the retrograde, the rug gets picked up and everything starts swirling around to be dealt with. But the more that you deal with the things, the next retrograde and all throughout life, you'll have the benefit from the work that you do to actually heal these things. So if you can just greet them head on, then they can just be dealt with. So if you would like to launch something like very important, I want to differentiate kind of guiding you when to do important things, okay? Something that we want to do when the stars are free of personal planet retrogrades, which is from around March 30th through April 9th. It's our last window we're going to have for all of 2020. So we want to really work this time. And you'll see that I'm saving something very big to launch at that time myself. I'm following my own good advice. So high stakes things never been done before, major launches, things that need a bunch of clarity, things that need a bunch of momentum, things that are like long-term ventures that you're wanting to last a very long time. Those are the kind of things that we want to try to sandwich through around the 9th. Now, if it turns out it's the 10th or the 11th, it's not the end of the world, but within those dates, March 30th through April 9th, you're just completely free of the influence of that retrograde energy, which is nice. Now, as for moving deeper into April and beyond, things that are low stakes, like they don't matter either way, or you don't have to invest that much into them, or the outcome doesn't matter. It can just be an experience, or something that's super short term, or something that's experimental, or something you're just playing with that's ongoing. You're like, I'm doing this now, just life, normal life. All of those are fine for the retrogrades. You don't have to worry about all that stuff. It's just the big, high stakes, expensive, important, once in a lifetime things that you want to try to have the momentum that's free from the retrogrades. Okay, so make sure you mark those dates, March 30th through April 9th in your calendar, and make as good use of them as possible, following your own intuitive flow that has to supersede anything that I say. Okay, so April 22nd is the new moon, and so you might find that some new things and new chapters within money come in, and that's fine. We're getting deeper into the retrograde. Remember that once we're in the retrograde, it's like, and the shadow period, so like April 10th and after, you've woven your web, okay? So you're actively weaving right now. You're weaving. And then your web is woven. And around April 10th and after, you kick back and you see what food comes into your web. It's a time when the stretching and the reaching and the grasping and the, like forcing, you get to have a break from all of that. Isn't that wonderful? That's why I say these retrogrades are not things to be dreaded. You just want to know how to align your energies with them. So do as much of your active web weaving beforehand, and then you can just hang out and observe and see what comes in and see what you want to do with them. Okay, so the topic of money as it relates to home and houses is very likely to come up this month for Aquarius placements, because Venus is going to be moving through the 4th house of home-based business, family, real estate, things like that. So you might notice that these things come up. This month could actually be fine for buying a house or selling a house. It's pretty clear we're not completely in the retrograde yet. The two really important things to be aware of here, if this real estate thing comes up as it's increased in odds for Aquarius, is that you don't want to give away something of value. Whether it's through a divorce, if you're like, forget it, just want to get away from them, just take it. That's one of the big no-nos of Venus retrograde, okay? I have so many resources on Venus retrograde, by the way, so you can just search for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde and start to really get prepped on the things to be careful of. But this is one of those things. People tend to have a warped view on items of value in Venus retrograde. Now, for bargain hunters, this is a delight. You could scoop up something of value this month and throughout the retrograde you're like, I can't even believe people are giving this away at this price. So if you've got the money, if it's disposable for you, you don't have to worry about it. You're not going to get it over your head. Venus retrograde is like the time for people like that. And it could be a fine time to sell something. It could be a fine time to buy something. You just have to be really sure what you're getting yourself into, because the chance of a money pit being purchased is increased in odds with this Venus retrograde energy. Something that you buy and it's more and more money, more and more money. And also the odds that you might sell something out of desperation or disgust or just general apathy, that you later are like, damn it, I could have made so much more money for that. And you're particularly susceptible for it when it has to do with like exes or people who you've been romantically involved with. People don't see clearly in love and money in Venus retrograde. And this energy is starting to brew this month. So you just have to make sure that you're seeing clearly, or that it doesn't matter if you're seeing clearly because the stakes aren't high before you do anything. But this is, this money thing in the house and the homes and all this, including like, let's say you find a place to rent and it's more than your budget, but you're like, we're just going to go ahead and go for it. The idea that you're going to be able to afford it may be tested over the upcoming months. So you just want to have wisdom, center, sanity as you make your financial and love choices. Venus retrograde can bring love back from the past, or bring someone back from the past who is not in a love context back into a, into a context of love. It's not always the best time for meeting new people unless they're going to be short term, but don't dismiss somebody that comes in that you feel like has value. You have to trust that inner guidance. But what you want to try to avoid is all of a sudden getting married, buying a house with them, making a big money choice with them, because you don't know if you're seeing clearly or not. So if it seems like a good match, wait till the retrograde's finished so you can see if things still look the way they did when those goggles were on. Okay, stuff like that. So let's see what else. Your money house is going to be accentuated this month, so a spotlight on your finances is going to be brought into the picture. And again, this is for all early, middle, and late degree placements. So going through your finances with a fine-tooth comb is a really good idea. And going through your budget, cutting out extraneous expenses, saving extra money is always a good idea before the retrograde, because sometimes expenses will come up, and if you're prepared for them in this little time of surplus, and you may have a little time of surplus, you might get a little boost of money here, then you'll be ready for it. And if you don't need to wind up spending it, then you'll just have it in the bank for maybe one of those big deals that I told you about, that, if someone's giving away something of value and you're like, I have this extra money, and, it's like a thrifter's delight and a garage sailor's person's delight. And people who look for like old jewelry and things like that, this is really, really potentially positive. So Mars is going to be accentuating the sector of, depending on where, let's see. Right from the beginning of the month, those of you at the beginning of the sign are going to have your physical bodies accentuated by Mars. Okay, so a lot of oomph on your physical body and your diet and your health regimen. The rest of you are going to have this happen as well, but it's going to be a little staggered. It may take more into this month or into next month before the Mars energy to really brew in that first house for you, because it takes a little longer the longer you are, later you are in the sign. But it's an amazing time to take some action with your physical body that has been needing to happen. So you'll have a lot of zest. And this is a very, very exceptionally zesty month. It's an exceptionally upbeat month in general, even though we do have some of these dicey aspects. The planets are just moving in such a beautiful way for Aquarius that I'm just really excited about it for you. And I'm excited about it for me too, because I have a Cap moon, but it's late Capricorn. So my chart, my moon chart, actually looks more like the early Aquarius chart. And so when I'm reading this for you guys, I'm reading my moon chart. So I'm excited about this for us. Okay, so you might start to see news and information about the triad of transformation, triple eclipse things that are going to be going on here in June and July. At the end of April starts this time where we might start hearing that news come in and seeing the changes come in. But like I said before, April is kind of this nice little bubble where we're a little bit, have some distance from the other eclipses that happened early in the year. We've got a little bit of distance before things start really cranking. We're not quite in the retrograde yet. We have some distance from the previous retrograde. It's a nice little weightless bubble that can just be super fun and restful and smooth. Not that I'm expecting you to get that much rest, because the things are just so zesty. The aspects are so zesty, but you might find that you can kick back a little bit and go do some active, fun things. So I'm excited about this month for you all. Okay, so if you want to have more information about this month, definitely go to anniehelpsyou.com. You can sign up for my free email newsletter, which will get you my write-up of the month, including all the sweet dates, the salty dates, what you can expect from those, plus the general tone of the month and important dates to note. In your inbox a month early when you sign up for my free newsletter at anniehelpsyou.com. I also have extensive blogs, including very extensive Venus retrograde blogs at anniehelpsyou.com. You can search for Annie Botticelli Venus retrograde online, find my video, find my blogs, and help you prepare. Venus is going to be in retrograde in Gemini, so you can read about those resources. And as we get closer, I'm going to tell you where it's going to be highlighted for you, and we'll go into all of that. And definitely go to cozybysweetstarlight.com. All the websites I'm giving you are also in the links underneath the video. If you click on more underneath the video, it will reveal more notes and the links will be in there. Cozybysweetstarlight.com is a beautiful website that I have that's astrology kissed and has all kinds of resources for maximizing the sun's movement, teas for the different signs, yoga for the different signs, and I also write horoscopes a month early for each sign. So you'll see written horoscopes by me for you there that will usually cover some different things than we talk about in the videos. If you'd like to learn astrology, either to become a professional astrologer or just because you love astrology and you want an educational wonderland of detail that will blow your mind, go at your own pace, study, then you can see also at anniehelpsyou.com or Be Astro Pro, BEASTRO pro.com. My school, Lume Life, LUME life.com, has this course, Becoming a Professional Astrologer, and all my other courses. So you can check all of those out, and hopefully I'll see you in my course, and it's really an astrological wonderland of learning. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.